A really compelling demo of a thought-based wheelchair up on stage. Medical is such an exciting area, we decided to bring back Michael Callahan from Ambient Technology, and he's really going to talk about how they're trying to solve neurological problems for people with things like ALS, Parkinson's, and a whole host of other diseases who really have lost the ability to speak. So, Michael, why don't you come on board? Nice to see you again, Michael.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
So if I remember, your company really was kind of spawned out of a think tank at the University of Illinois, and you're really focused in the medical area. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the company?
Yeah, so we started about 2.5 years ago with the purpose of finding better ways for people to interact with devices. And so what we came up with was essentially a technology that captures neurological information from the brain, and we translate it into speech.
So why don't you talk to us a little bit about last year's demo and the RL technology that you used?
Yeah, so last year we showed an application of the technology, which was essentially using the audio to control a wheelchair. So if you want, you can pull that clip up now, the center screen, hopefully. And play. And that's Thomas, our CTO. And you'll notice that he's operating the wheelchair, moving it wherever he wants to without any physical movement. So he's not using or operating the joystick like you normally would, but using the audio to capture the neurological information from his brain. And it'll pop up on the screen there. Those are some of the commands that he uses to drive it. I think that's done.
Okay. So I noticed you have this stylish collar on you right now.
Yeah.
It looks marvelous, by the way.
Thank you.
So, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you've updated the technology over the last year and what you're going to show us today?
Yeah. So in addition to making it wireless, we've been developing some commercial applications. And I'll show you kind of an example of one. If we could pull up my screen here. Okay, there we go. Let me drag this over here for you. Okay, so you'll notice that when I'm speaking, my brain's sending neurological activity to control my vocal cords. And it's that activity that we pick up, and we're able to process it and translate it into speech. And so one of the applications that we're developing is what we call voiceless communication. So it's the idea that essentially, take for example when you're talking on a cell phone, why do all of the people around you need to hear your conversation? And so with this technology...
It's really annoying, by the way. So.
Yeah. With this technology, we can enable people to speak silently and not miss important calls. So we'll give you an example of that. So this will take a second here.
Okay, should I pick up this phone?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is place one of the first voiceless cell phone conversations, hopefully.
I'm not sure if the cell phone is on. Yeah. There we go. Nice ringtone. So hi Mike, this is Mike Ames over at TI. Are you busy?
I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Oh, I just had a quick question for you.
So I can talk both verbally and also silently to answer his question.
Are you available to meet with some members of the press afterwards?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Thanks. Talk to you later. You know, it seems like something I would, watch in a sci-fi movie or something. That is unbelievable what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
So tell me, what technology are you really using in this?
Yeah, so inside of the device, the audio is powered by the MSP430 microcontroller.
And why did you pick the 430?
So the MSP430 has been absolutely great for us. We started working with it about 2 years ago, and we saw it as an extremely low-power microcontroller. Now, for the people that we're developing our product line for, people who can't speak, we need to have a processor that is extremely low power. What you don't want to have happen is someone in the middle of the day who's using your device as its sole way to talk to lose battery life and no longer be able to communicate.
Right. So what's state of the art of the technology today?
Yeah. So the performance that we're able to achieve at this moment is similar to the early days of speech recognition. So those were days when there was very close set, but there were a number of applications that you could do. So one of the applications that we're developing, that we're launching at the end of this year, is a communication device for people with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, in order to communicate. So now, although the communication and speech that we can offer is limited, it still adds a huge amount of value. One of the first people that we're working with, his name's Dave, and he got ALS at about the age of 45. And he went from being a person just like you or I and being able to talk to where he's at right now, where his wife can't understand what he's trying to say, and neither can his children. So our technology captures the activity that he is able to do, and we translate that into speech that the rest of the world can understand.
That must really give you a good feeling, seeing something like that turn into reality.
Yeah, it's a huge driving force.
So what other applications are you thinking about? I hear you got a lot of other things on the hopper.
Yeah. So with this technology, you can kind of imagine that if you can capture what a person wants to say before they actually say it, there's a number of very powerful things that you can do with that. And one of them that we're developing is kind of its usage scenario, what we describe as the smartest man in the room. So essentially with the audio device, what we do is we'd capture the activity that a person wants to say and translate that into speech and use that speech to query search engines. So imagine you're walking down the street and you want to know where the local bus station is. And so you just essentially think it, or a little bit more than that, and the device captures the activity and translates that up to the internet, gets the answer and speaks it back down to you. So what that means for people is that we can augment human intelligence by using all of the collected knowledge that's held on the internet.
So will I have a button to turn it off, so if I'm thinking things I don't want people to know about?
So we often have to clarify that it's the activity that we pick up it's a step above thinking, but a step below speaking. So the person has to actively want to say it, but visually, as you saw with me, I don't have to do very much in order to use it.
No, that's great. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with TI? How's it been? Are we doing everything we need to make it successful?
Yeah, absolutely. Our experience with TI started with Kathy Wicks, who's in the audience. She came to the University of Illinois, and we sat down and we showed her some of the things that we were able to do with the device. And she absolutely loved it and said that we had to show it at TIDC. And from there, we've been working with their engineers and product managers to help integrate TI's technology into the audio.
Cool. So where do you want to go in the future?
Mm-hmm. So we want to take this technology now. So I showed you voiceless communication, and typically every time it's become easier for people to communicate, it's connected people better and enriched their lives. And so historically, from things like the telegram to the telephone to the cell phone, down to the audio, connecting people really has the ability to change the world. And that's what we want to do with this technology.
Well, it's really exciting working with you to change the world, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure.